So I'm thinking as I go here about Wimbledon tennis and how male and female players are paid the same in prize money for their matches, yet women play less tennis than men for this same reward. And I was thinking how at one time in the past, Wimbledon paid women less in prize money than the male players because women played less tennis, and so they were paid less as a result. But women complained about this situation, saying it was unfair to discriminate against women by paying women less. But it seems to me it's fairly obvious that if less tennis is played, if women play less tennis, then they should be paid less than the men. It seems fairly obvious. But the women complained anyway, and they're successful in their complaint. And Wimbledon pays men and women the same in prize money. So I was wondering, and I was wondering years ago, and I'm still wondering today, why the male players accept this situation. Why do the men accept playing more tennis for the same reward? I was thinking that the female players complained about getting less in prize money on the basis of sex. They were saying it was sex discrimination, which was the reason they were being paid less. But I was thinking it's not sex discrimination, it's based on the amount of tennis that's being played. Men played more tennis, and so I thought they should get more in prize money. But the women were successful in their complaint somehow. And now men and women do get paid the same at Wimbledon. So I'm surprised about this. And what surprises me most is not the behaviour of the female players. I understand why they would want to get more money and be paid the same as the men. But what surprises me most is the behaviour of the male players and why they would accept being required to play the same, being required to play more tennis for the same reward. Why are men happy to do this? It surprises me very much, and it's very disappointing that the men would allow this to happen. It seems to me they should simply say no and not play. But it seems that I suppose it's the sexual imperative. It is the desire within men to placate women, to make women like them, to be nice to women, and to help women where possible. The male players are happy to play more tennis for the same reward as the female players. And it is very disappointing because it would be very straightforward to correct this situation simply by refusing to play under these conditions. But the male players accept it for some reason. And I'm still wondering why after years, I think. I don't understand why the male players accept being paid less for the same reward. That came out wrong. They accept being paid the same as women despite being required to play more tennis. So it confused me then and it confuses me now why the male players accept this. It seems to me it wouldn't take very much to correct this situation, just by the male players refusing to play under these conditions. But the male players seem content to do this for some reason, and it does mystify me. It seems that in tackling misandry in society, it would be very helpful if men at the top, in the public eye, it would be very helpful if they would make a stand against misandry, and change might begin to happen as a result. But the male players, for some reason, continue to play more tennis for the same reward. And it really doesn't make sense. And it can only be explained by a biological imperative to take care of women and look up to women. It seems that the self-respect that the male players should have for themselves is missing. It's as if the male players think they're worth less than the female players. They think it's okay to play the female players more because they're female. So it seems that the men have a low opinion of themselves. And it is completely mystifying why the men accept this. I'm wondering if this will ever change, but there doesn't seem to be impetus to make any change. Because as I say, the men are happy to accept it. Why should there be any change?